My name is Susan, and I am a recovering perfectionist. I am also a recovering control freak. And I've lived most of my life worshiping the mantra that probably some of you here have even repeated yourselves. If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. Well, they say that change comes often as a result of one of the 3 Ds: death, divorce, or disease. And the D that came stampeding into my life 9 years ago was death. And it came and took my husband of 15 years, who at the time was a 49-year-old father of 5 children, 3 of which were mine. What a shock. At the time, I had a 20-year-old daughter. She was just finishing university. Her stepdad had been her rock. They'd had many, many wonderful years together, and it was a big shock to her, obviously, to see the loss of this wonderful man. I had a 9-year-old son who had just been diagnosed with one of those funny labels that I really didn't understand and really didn't want to hear about, but the psychologist at the time said, guaranteed me actually, that this boy would probably never hold down a job and he probably would never leave home. I had a 7-year-old daughter, and very shortly after her father died, she started dedicating her life to ending it. Again, the same theme that we've had going today, because she missed her daddy so much that she wanted to go join him in heaven. I also had a disabled 75-year-old mother in my life who lived 15 minutes away and required a fair bit of my time and attention. So that was a bit of a mess. And I looked at my life and I thought, wow, talk about a train wreck. And so I did what any reasonable person would do, and I started a business. Right? Great idea. What I realized was this was not a really good place to be a perfectionist with control tendencies. I had a very chaotic life, and if you also have some chaos in your life, you may want to hear about some of the things that I found very beneficial in my road to being more successful as I go through this path. And that was, I had to realize that I had to learn how to delegate, and I had to learn how to release stuff, which was not easy for me to do, being a perfectionist and a control freak. But here's what I did. I learned how to delegate. So in terms of delegating, it's been a long journey for me. At this point in my life, I don't go grocery shopping. Every Thursday night sees me sitting down up front of my computer, and I order my groceries online. A nice man arrives every Saturday morning between 7 and 9 o'clock with my groceries, and he only charges me $10 to do that. I have also given away this idea of cooking. I also have a meal delivery service that comes and delivers 3 meals a week so that we don't have to cook anymore. Well, we still do, but it's a lot easier. I also have an errand lady, nice Yvonne, arrives at my door every Monday morning. She takes my list and a little bit of money, and off she goes, and she does all the errands, including she grabs our bag of laundry, takes it to the laundromat, and for about $20 a week, I get my laundry done. They wash it, they fold it, they dry it, and it comes back with Yvonne again on Wednesdays. So I think I've started to get this stuff figured out. What's been a little harder for me has been this idea of letting go, releasing the stuff that's been holding me, I wouldn't say back, but holding me a little bit smaller than I want my life to be. And so one of the things that I've had to learn to release has been the idea of what life should look like. There was a time before my husband died when I had visions of us sitting on a beautiful dock somewhere in our older years, watching the sunset, holding hands, talking about how wonderful life had been. Well, that had to disappear, that future. I also had to give away the idea of what my present looked like, because I went from having a beautiful life, living in a massive house, way too much housework in that one, now that I think of it, but to a very, very busy life where I'm pretty much occupied every minute of every day in my daily life. So I had to make that adjustment into realizing that my today was not the today that I thought I was going to be getting. And I also had to reimagine what my past life was, because there had been a time, as time went on, I took on this idea of feeling kind of sorry for myself. And when someone asked me what I did, I would say, well, I'm the self-employed widowed mother of 3 children with a disabled mother in my life. That sounded a little bit heavy. So now when people ask me what I do, I say, I'm a writer. It's a lot easier, a lot fewer syllables involved in that one. Another thing I've had to give away in my life has been this idea that that life needs to be perfect, and the idea that life needs to be reliable, and the idea that life isn't sometimes chaotic. And so part of my path has been this journey of learning how to flow with things, surrender to what it's like, and be a lot calmer when disaster seems to strike quite regularly in my life, actually, with teenagers. So here's how it's working. Now, I have a 30-year-old daughter, if you can believe it, with a highly successful career. She's carving out a magnificent life living in London, England, with a fabulous job. She was vice president of one of the world's largest investment companies until she got promoted. So she's doing really well. She's living with her wonderful boyfriend. They're having a beautiful life together. That boy who was never going to go anywhere is now at a very fine Canadian university on a music scholarship. And his bassoon mentor tells me this kid, if he keeps working the way he's working, will be able to play in any orchestra in the world when he's done. That little girl who was so sad that she really missed her daddy is now an extraordinary 16-year-old who mentors her friends, is going to make, I don't know how many jaws drop in her life, because certainly I've been driving with this girl, and I don't think I really want to do that too many more times. She's strong, she's capable, she's confident, and she amazes me every single day. That business that I so rashly decided to start 9 years ago is now generating an income I really couldn't even imagine back when those days were first fresh for me. So things are really going well, and I have to say, it's really been fun for me to reimagine my life. When I sat beside my husband as he was dying all those years ago, he had cancer, I watched as my dreams for the future dissolved in front of my face, and I could never imagine a day when I would stop crying and start flying. But here I am. And I would like to invite anyone who has had disaster strike, which probably means everybody out there. I would like to invite everyone to realize that hope is out there. And my wish for all of us, for me, for you, for anyone in your life who you care about, is that we find the path that we want to walk, that we find a dream we want to live, and that we go out there and chase those dreams and have some fun doing it. Thank you.